Hey everybody, Nathan Ronen here with another update. This is for all candidates, level 1, level 2, level 3. And I've decided that this time, instead of putting up something about the exams or how to study or about mock exams or anything like that, I would do more of a sort of like career advice kind of recording, because I get a lot of questions from candidates, especially level 1 candidates, but also sometimes level 2 and level 3, about, career aspirations, the relevance of the CFA exam, to getting a better job or making more money. These are all natural questions, curiosity questions. So if you're interested in hearing more on this, please press the subscribe button and the notifications button after that so that you can continue to receive these updates on a weekly or bi-weekly basis as I post them. What I'm about to talk about is obviously going to be a little controversial, and that's okay. But again, I need you to understand from the beginning that when I do these recordings, these are my opinions, okay? They are not gospel. They're not everybody's experience. And, again, one size doesn't fit all. So I want to sort of give advice, and if it rings well with you, you could take the advice. If it goes against the grain and doesn't agree with your thinking, then you can just disregard it. And if you have, comments or whatever, you can always give me a call and we can also discuss it, obviously, briefly. But here it goes. I'll start it out this way. A couple weeks ago, I was actually getting my hair cut, and there was a woman sitting in the seat nearby, and I was waiting to have my hair cut, and she was talking to the hairstylist, and I was, we were the only ones in the hair salon, and she was talking about her son, and she was saying about how successful her son is, that he works actually for Morgan Stanley, which, we all know is a, major investment bank, major, financial service company. And she was saying how he's been there for many years, and he's gone up the ladders, and he's, the corporate ladder, and he's, I believe, now a managing director or something like that. And she was just very, very proud of him, that he was making a ton of money. And I was listening to this because, I was in the corporate world for many years. I worked in consulting, I worked in investment banking, I worked in corporate finance, I worked in the travel industry even for a little while. I worked in compliance, and, I worked in asset management. So, I have a lot of stints in different locations before I went full-time with teaching CFA courses. And I was listening to what she had to say, and I thought it was very interesting because obviously this mother is very proud of her son. And I would probably guess her son, as a managing director, is probably in his either early 30s or late 30s or maybe even early 40s. Again, that's just a guess on my part. And she said, again, she was so proud of the money that he was making, kept emphasizing, oh, he has so much money, blah, blah, blah. And I listened to her, and then I finally said, I was wondering, oh, it's very nice. Your son works for Morgan Stanley. Is he really making that much money? Oh, yes. He makes so much money, and the gifts that he gives us for the holidays and the vacations that he takes. And I said, well, that's all very nice. I said, but, ma'am, even if he's making $5 million or $10 million a year, do you think that's a lot of money? And she says, oh, absolutely. And I said, well, if I told you that he's worth $20 million, would you say that $5 million or $10 million is a fair amount to pay him? And so she thinks for a second, and she doesn't know what to say. And I said, look, ma'am, and this is what I'm imparting on you. A lot of people decide that the best route for them, because they're educated that way in college and even in their MBA programs, is to work for a corporation, for a major company or for a corporation, and to be an employee and to go up the corporate ladder, and obviously as they go up the corporate ladder, they make more money. And that is all true. But here's the standpoint, and I learned this later on in life, again, as I was going through the corporate environment. There's nothing wrong per se with working in the corporate environment if that's what you want to do. Okay, because, I understand the benefits. You get, fixed income. You know that you're getting that paycheck every 2 weeks. You have a potential for bonus. Your benefits, especially in the United States, for healthcare, medical, vision, dental is all taken care of as well, or there's some kind of co-payment involved. You're working with coworkers. Those are all obviously things that, people enjoy and they like and they look forward to. That kind of like certainty, but it's really not certain because a company can fire you anytime they want. But here's the thing. I explained to her, I said to her, well, you know what? Actually, your son is making a good income because he can pay his bills and he can save, but at the same time, he's never going to be paid what he's worth. No company is ever going to overpay you. Okay, they're going to pay you what they think you're worth or less if they can get you at a bargain price. I hire people all the time, whether they be interns or whether they be regular employees or whatever, and I never try to overpay. No company would ever do that because it doesn't make any sense. In fact, what you see a lot of times in the financial services industry is that people come in at a salary, they believe it's a lot of money, and then eventually, by the age of 40, if they haven't become managing directors or they haven't become partners, they leave or they are let go. Because what happens is they can always be replaced by cheaper labor, cheaper people, younger people, as they call it, new blood. So what happens is whatever your position is, whether you're beginning, whether you're an intermediate, or whether you're even a managing director or partner, you'll never be paid what you're truly worth. If that's okay with you and you like your income and whatever you're getting and you think that that's a fair amount of money, then stay with it. But most people eventually discover that they are worth more than what they're being paid. They sometimes ask for raises or they, squeeze the company and they might get an increase or a bump in salary, but eventually they're let go once the company decides that, they're too expensive. That happens all the time. Actually, I experienced that too in my job and career I could see the writing on the wall that I was making very, very good money. I had a lot of vacation accrued. I had a lot of time off. And then eventually they came and they said, hey, let's see if we can lower him. And I really wouldn't go for that. Okay. And I decided to, leave. I guess what I'm trying to get at here in this kind of story is that when you're in the corporate world, in the beginning, at least, that's great. You came out of college, you have a secure job, you can pay off your loans if you have any loans for education or what have you. That's great. Get some experience, get some relevant experience, something that if you decide to leave the company, then maybe you can start a similar business on your own and you could, make money doing it. Specialized niches are going to be very difficult because, for example, some of the divisions in companies after a number of years are dissolved and the skills that you have are irrelevant. So what you want to do is you want to build very good skills that you could, keep using them, improve on them, and even at some point leave the corporate world and start your own business. Because here's the point about the corporate world. The corporate world, you basically know that you are maxed out. There's only a certain amount of money that you could make in the position that you have. But you have a base, right? You have a base and then you have a cap and you won't go below the base. But they can let you go anytime they want and then that base becomes zero, okay? When you're working for yourself, for your own company, yes, it's more stressful. Yes, there's, more that you have to do. And yes, you're pretty much married to your job. But again, that's where you need to find your passion. And you don't want to obviously go into a business that you don't care about. But when you're working for yourself, or when you're self-employed, or when you have your own business, basically potential is unlimited. Potential is unlimited, but you also have the risk that if you don't work hard or you don't do what's necessary or your product doesn't sell, that you can also make zero. Some people are not comfortable with that. But if you're good at what you do and you know your true worth, you probably would not work in the corporate world. You'd start your own business. You'd develop, your customer base. You'd work with people and you would see that unlimited and tap that unlimited potential that you can working for yourself. And not only that, you probably won't have to attend all kinds of meetings that you don't want to, listen to other blowhards, try to, suck up to the boss, as I've seen many times, telling him things that he already knows or wants to hear. I mean, there's a lot of things. You could take vacation when you want, assuming that you can take a lot of vacation. You're not restricted. Many times in companies, they'll say you can't take vacation this time or that time. You can take a day off from work if you want, but again, you're not going to get paid. Okay, but you can do other things. There's many, many benefits to being self-employed that people don't think about. And when I told this woman in the salon, coming back to the story, that she, her son wasn't making that much money, relatively speaking, in absolute terms, because he wasn't being paid his worth, she thought about it and she goes, She didn't have anything to say. Okay. Now, you may disagree with my analysis, and that's okay. But the truth is, I've worked in the corporate world. I saw what I was being paid. I saw the increases. I had lots of time off. I was paid very well. But eventually, I decided to get out of the corporate world. I went into my own business, started Chalk and Board back in 2018, and I haven't looked back. Do I wish I could make more money, or that I would make more money? Yeah, but am I happy with what I'm doing? Am I happy helping candidates pass? Am I happy determining my own work schedule, my own life, my own opportunity to take vacation, not take vacation, work harder? Yes, but I have more of that, if you will, ability to do what I want rather than having to do what other people want me to do. And I also don't have the looming threat of being fired or gossiping that, oh my God, pink slips are going out, or they're thinking of downsizing. Don't have to worry about that either. There's other advantages, there's other disadvantages, but what I'm going to say to you is always try to get the maximum for your potential in terms of pay. And the corporate world, for many people, isn't it. So think about that. And in terms of the relevance of the CFA is just one tool that you use in order to increase your credibility in the working world, whether you're working for yourself or working for somebody else. Don't look at the CFA as an opportunity to make more money or that it translates into extra dollars. If you're not good at what you do, the money's never going to come. But if you are good at what you do, the money will come, and the best money will come when you're working for yourself. So that's what I wanted to point out here. Obviously, you have divergent views. Maybe some of you agree with me. Happy to hear your comments. You can always reach out to me. Again, my name is Nathan Ronen with Chalk and Board, CHALK and AND, board, BOARD.org. And if you're interested in the level 1, level 2, or level 3 program, feel free to reach out. Happy to help you pass your exams. Again, I got my charter back in 1996, and I'm happy to help any candidate, whether it be on the CFA exam level or on a career level. So good luck to you, and thanks for listening.